In 1964, a 17-year-old boy named Randy Gardner decided to stop sleeping. Not for a night, not for a weekend. For 11 days straight. No drugs, no tricks, just willpower. And what happened to his brain over those 11 days is one of the most disturbing documented cases in the history of science. It started as a science fair project. Randy and his friend Bruce McAllister wanted to study the effects of sleep deprivation on human performance. Simple enough idea? They flipped a coin to decide who would stay awake. Randy lost, or won, depending on how you look at it. By day 2, Randy's eyes couldn't focus properly. He had trouble identifying objects by touch alone. Small things, easy things, started slipping. He forgot words mid-sentence. Not unusual words, common ones. By day 3, he was moody, irritable in ways he couldn't explain or control. His friends had to watch him constantly because he kept trying to fall asleep without realizing it. His brain was fighting back. It wanted what it needed. Day 4 is where it got genuinely frightening. Randy started hallucinating. He looked at a street sign and became convinced it was a person. He saw a path through fog that wasn't there. He believed, briefly, that he was a famous black running back, Paul Lowe, preparing for the Rose Bowl. He wasn't confused about small details. He had stepped into a completely different reality. Here's what makes that terrifying. Randy was otherwise healthy. No drugs, no alcohol, no medical conditions. Just 4 days without sleep, and his brain had already started generating experiences that had no connection to the world in front of him. It had started dreaming while he was still standing up. This is where sleep researcher William Dement enters the story. Dement, who would later become one of the most important figures in sleep science, heard about Randy's experiment and drove to San Diego to monitor him. What he found convinced him that sleep wasn't just important for the body. It was fundamental to the basic operation of reality itself as the brain experiences it. Because here is what sleep actually does. Every night when you close your eyes, your brain runs a kind of maintenance cycle that your waking self never sees. Toxins that build up during the day get flushed out through your glymphatic system. Memories get sorted, compressed, and filed. Emotional experiences get processed so that by morning, the sharp edges of yesterday's stress are slightly dull. Skip that cycle long enough and the machinery starts to fail. Not slowly, quickly. By day 6, Randy couldn't finish sentences. He would start a thought and the end of it would simply disappear. He had no idea he was doing it. He lost the ability to detect his own cognitive collapse in real time. By day 8, his concentration was essentially gone. Simple arithmetic was impossible. He would attempt a problem and forget what he was doing before reaching the answer. He was 17 years old and temporarily couldn't count. By day 10 and 11, Randy was somewhere between waking and sleeping at all times, a state scientists call microsleep, where the brain forces short blackouts of 5 to 10 seconds regardless of what the body is doing. He was standing, sometimes walking, sometimes talking, while parts of his brain were already asleep. On the 11th day, January 8, 1964, Randy Gardner held a press conference. He stood in front of reporters and spoke clearly. He said he had wanted to prove that sleep deprivation doesn't make you crazy, and then he went to bed. He slept for 14 hours and 40 minutes. When he woke up, his cognitive function had largely returned to normal within days. The brain, it turns out, is extraordinarily resilient. Given the chance to recover, it does. But here's the part of Randy's story that most people never hear. In the decades after his famous experiment, Randy Gardner developed severe chronic insomnia. The man who once forced himself to stay awake for 11 days spent his later years desperately trying to sleep, unable to get more than an hour at a time. He has said in interviews that he believes his body never fully forgave him for what he put it through at 17. Whether that's medically proven or not, it points to something your brain has been quietly insisting on your entire life. Sleep is not optional. It is not laziness. It is not a waste of 8 hours. It is the price your brain charges for the experience of being conscious. Pay it every night, and it runs smoothly. Push it long enough, and the bill comes due in ways no amount of willpower can fix. Randy Gardner learned that at 17, standing in a room full of reporters, holding himself upright through sheer stubbornness, while large portions of his brain were already somewhere else entirely. Tonight, when you feel the pull toward sleep, don't fight it. That pull isn't weakness. It's 11 days of science reminding you who is actually in charge. If staying awake for 11 days broke Randy Gardner's brain, wait until you hear what ancient humans did the moment the sun went down. That video is right there.